The information given and the discussions had in this podcast are not meant to be a substitute for any licensed mental health, medical, educational, or legal professional. Please reach out to any licensed professional who can better assist you.
Welcome to the Life After 25 podcast. It's ghetto. We asked to be here. 005 would recommend. That's cool though. We got you. Life After 25 is your guide through adulthood. It is the one hood we all have to travel through. Why not do it together?
Hey.
Here you go again.
It's Fat Albert.
Yo.
I just told her not to do that and she still did it.
And she did it, and she did it real aggressive too.
It's assertive, not
Wait,
aggressive.
remember they had a Fat Albert? Yo, I missed the early 2000s. Remember they had the Fat Albert movie with who was
with Kyla Pratt?
It was
Kyla Pratt. They had B2K. Marcus Houston was.
Wasn't it Keenan from Keenan and Kel who was
Keenan Thompson was Fat Albert. Oh my God, what was wrong with the? Oh, you know what movie was my shit in the early 2000s? And I'm not even gonna say don't judge because everybody knows they movie too. You Got Served. No, close your mouth. You Got Served was in your movie. Now niggas ain't like You Got Served. Now niggas was in front of their TV doing the dance moves. Nobody like You Got Served. I hate y'all. Y'all be.
I feel like I didn't watch You Got Served as much as I watched Drumline, and as much as I watched what's that other one with Columbus Short and Chris Brown died in the first 5 minutes. But they played that. They played Chris Brown in there for like days.
Where he was like this.
Yeah, with the snake.
Neo was in that one too, I think.
Oh God.
Yeah, Neo and Megan Good. They were in college or some shit.
Megan Good was in You Got Served too.
Line, step to Stomp the Yard.
Stomp the Yard. Yes. I watched Stomp the Yard more than I watched You Got Served.
Megan Good was in You Got Served. Like, my name is Betterhelp.
Yo, you know what's a really good
cringeworthy.
After this, we're gonna have to transition. But you know what was a really good movie?
Ooh.
ATL.
ATL was a great movie, yeah.
It wasn't better than Dreamgirls. And I was just about to say,
oh my God.
You can rent and buy movies for real cheap right now with Amazon Prime Day. So as soon as we get off, I'm renting Dreamgirls or Beyond the Lights, and I'm gonna watch it. Have a blessed night.
All right. You
Okay.
got mental health check-ins.
How you ladies doing today?
I'm good. We just got into an argument before we started this podcast, y'all. Full disclosure.
Wow, you had to like just put us out there on Front Street.
Yeah.
Let's make this clear. We didn't get in an argument. She argued with herself.
Oh God.
This is a week after the what's the episode we did? Like handling anger. Well, I hope it was last week episode at this point. Yeah.
What was it? Handling anger.
Handling anger. Yes.
No, she handled it really, really well. She talked to us.
Yeah, we're just goofballs, so we kept laughing. As I mentioned in the last episode.
Listen, I was
they was laughing, they was getting on my nerves, but they didn't know they was getting on my nerves. So now I started getting mad, and he was just like, "Oh wow, she mad." That's the shit I be talking about.
I just want her to give me a clue, a hint, a wink, a safe word, something to let me know when she's serious, because she joke all day.
I be serious, and they just think I'm joking.
Why does everyone think if everyone thinks you're
now
joking?
I'm a clown.
Why does everyone think you're joking but you?
I don't know, because I don't know. Is it my face? Is it the stuff? I think I gotta stop being so sarcastic or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
What you mean maybe, bitch? No, she fucking dry as shit now.
because like maybe because you're always sarcastic, everybody always thinks you're joking, and then when you're not joking, it's like, oh shit, she's not joking. Awkward.
She's always cutting somebody's ass. That's what it is. and then she picks and chooses when she ain't ready to cut ass anymore. We all got to be on one accord.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. I got to say, all right, I'm done now, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't want to do it no more. I'm done, okay?
She be dead ass cutting everyone's ass, and then we jump in ready to play double dutch with her, and then she be like, no, I'm not playing anymore. Bitch, you just cut ass for an hour. We came in here in 20 minutes, and now you're done. It be her.
I don't think everybody knows.
All right, Renice, how are you doing today?
How am I doing that?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. There's not much going on my end. I just want me and all my friends to get along, and
that was shade.
And I just want love.
I'm sorry, I love you, baby.
Oh! She told me she loved me.
See, now she's not gonna be mad no more. I know how to get your ass.
I just need to hear those 3 magic words.
You know what I think what makes it worse though is that I laugh too much, which makes you laugh. So it gets even more because we're both
I just snorted on that.
Over here laughing.
It really do be Dom. We just be sitting here and I be so dead ass talking. And then Dom just be sitting here, start laughing like everything I say is a joke. And then I start laughing and then Laura be tight. Like, the fuck wrong with you bitches? Get in line.
No, you're funny though, Renice. That's the thing. You are funny as shit. And all listeners know that you are funny as shit. Oh my God, my face hurts now.
How are you, Dom?
I'm good. You know, I was really having like a mental war with myself earlier today, because I was listening to a Future song and I really so here's the thing, right?
I'm sorry, you gotta give a warning.
You lost me when you said Future.
You gotta give a warning before. This is what I be talking. Y'all see what I be talking about? Yeah, we was dead. We was serious. And here she go with Future.
I was very concerned because I thought it was gonna be about something else that happened earlier.
And this girl gonna say Future. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize for interrupting.
Okay, thank you. So he has a new song out called Solitaires. Now the feminist in me wanted to hate this song. Like really trying to figure out, like, I can't like this song. I love women. Like I'm for women. I love Black women. I can't like a song by Future. But the nigga in me, my God.
She said, my God.
I gotta go listen to the song now because you know the nigga.
Oh my gosh.
It's a great song.
It is.
Solitaires by Future. Great song, but fuck Future. He is terrible.
You know what? Future's a Scorpio like me, so I kind of understand the fuck nigga shit. And I'm a little bit of a fuck nigga too, so I gotta understand it. But I don't condone it. I don't condone it. Girls, don't be out here and letting these niggas be fuck niggas to you. Men, don't be out here letting these girls be fuck bitches to you.
Girl, you better shut your ass up.
City girl for the window. But I understand Scorpio Future because I am a Scorpio as well. The same as I understand Scorpio Drake. They make sense to me.
Yeah, Drake is a fuckboy too, like low key.
Yeah, fuckboy who can't keep nobody.
High key.
You've been with all the bad bitches in the world and you can't keep nobody? What's wrong with you?
That's because he does like the Dawson. Do you guys watch Dawson's Creek?
No, you don't want to watch
not
no
at
damn
all.
Dawson Creek. Girl, never did, never will be.
Okay, well, it's that Lawrence effect. You know how Lawrence is like the quote unquote good guy?
Oh shit, you're gonna have the Lawrence Hobb up in here fucking us up. Stop it.
But it's the like he's really a fuck boy, but that's how Drake is because he like has the nice guy, he sings and he's light skinned, but he's really a fuck nigga.
Who even
you know what?
Drake was a nice guy to start with.
You know what? I was reading a meme. Somebody wrote it wasn't a meme. It was this conversation. Remember I sent y'all something about someone writing like why someone would date someone and be their third baby mother willingly, which ain't no shade about that, but someone was like, well, Sierra did it with Future thinking she was going to change him. And someone commented back saying, oh, thinking she was special or something. That's what the original writer wrote. And then someone commented back and was like, well, she did get Russell, what's his name?
Westbrook.
Oh, I couldn't think of that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I thought it was Westbrook too, but it's Wilson.
Basketball player, Wilson.
Yeah.
My God.
Russell, but she did get Russell Wilson, so she is a good person. And I'm just like, oh, she is a good person because she did get Russell Wilson and Future still being a fuck nigga. How many kids he got now?
Possibly 8. That's why it's so hard for me to like that song, but I really liked it.
Children.
It was a great song. All right, so you guys ready for the Black Girl Magic, Black Boy Joy? I believe it's
Black Girl Magic, Black Boy Joy.
You have to find. Oh my God, bitch! I know that's not the Jeopardy theme song. I was just about to say you have to find a way to sing it every week. Like find the same way to sing it.
I think I like changing it up every week.
I was about to say, I think you should find a new theme every week because Jeopardy, really? Where did that even come from?
And do you guys know anybody that could sing?
Black.
Renice.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I'm hitting these notes. What you trying to say? You trying to play me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Black boy, mad. No,
black
I ain't
say girl, you do it again.
Magic.
I'm sorry, I didn't
black
mean to say go
boy,
ahead.
Joy. Black girl, magic. Black boy, joy.
Okay, I apologize, y'all.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, the Black Boy Joy this week is Patrick Tucker from Patrick Tucker Photography. So he's an amazing photographer. He does like weddings, engagement photos, baby pictures. He also does family photos like Christmas and literally anything you can think of. He also does maternity pictures, everything. He was the photographer for my little sister's prom. Yes, my little sister had her own personal photographer for her prom send-off because that's just how she does. He was the photographer at my wedding, and he was also the photographer at my baby shower. And we got a couple of maternity pictures as well. So he does an excellent job. So if you're in Philly and you're in need of a photographer, please hit up Patrick Tucker Photography. His Instagram is at Patrick Tucker Photography. His email is patricktuckerphotography@gmail.com. And he also has a website, patricktuckerphotography.com. So everything is Patrick Tucker Photography all across the board, really easy to remember, and you will not be disappointed. I absolutely love my wedding pictures. Yeah. So that's our Black Boy Joy.
Period. Yay! Shout outs to Patrick Tucker. So definitely take good photos, definitely about the business. So if you're looking for someone, definitely hit him up.
And he will get your pictures for you, no matter what he has to do.
Oh, best believe that he will.
Like, he will get those pictures. So.
So shout outs to him. So this week's episode is going to be about navigating life without parents. So in a little while, we're going to have 2 guest stars come on and just have a conversation with us about how to navigate life without parents. We do know that after the age of 25, and even individuals before the age of 25 have lost parents due to numerous of things. And it's very hard. I know that we're leaning towards the end of the year. Holidays are coming up, and certain things are going to just remind you of that parent. Let's be straightforward. Every day reminds you of that parent. So, just having a conversation about that. We don't want to leave anyone out because we know that these are things that really have and continues to affect people, and just how to navigate that. So we're going to have 2 guest stars coming on and just having a conversation about that. I can't wait for you guys to hear them.
Definitely. So I just have a question before they come on. Even though I know neither of you have dealt with losing a parent dying, but how have you dealt with any type of grief in the past that you have dealt with?
Yikes, I didn't know you were going to ask that question.
Well, I've lost, within the last 7 years, I've lost a grandmother and an aunt and a grandfather and another grand aunt. But I will honestly say that I don't feel like I had to deal with grief in those situations. Not that I wasn't close to my maternal grandmother or my maternal aunt. It's just that, I don't know, I think grief affects people differently. I don't think those can equate to like losing a parent though. I feel like losing everybody. If you know me, you know how much I love my mama. And I feel like I think about it sometimes, like me being the only child and then having my mom. Like if I lost my mom, like just keep 911 on deck. So I don't think I've really dealt with grief before. I do grief counseling, but I don't think I personally dealt with grief before. And I'm not looking forward to it because that's a whole new level of, I don't think I can handle. Have you struggled, Dom, with anything?
Not really. Just like you. I mean, I've lost grandparents. I think the biggest one was my maternal grandmother. I did just lose a grandfather as well. But losing my maternal grandmother, I think that hurt really badly because it was hard seeing my mom Be that upset. And also I lived with my grandmother at one point. So like I was pretty close with her, but seeing my mom hurt like that, it was just, whoo. And also my husband actually lost his father when it was crazy. He was in basic training when he was in the Army, and that's when his father passed away. And so even though that was a long time ago, there's still a lot of instances like he'll just randomly say like, man, I wonder what my dad would say, like if he was here, like at our wedding, like because his dad missed the wedding, his dad missed the birth of his first son and things like that. So I know that really, really, truly affects him. It's not like he like goes around crying or anything, but he'll make little comments here or there because I just don't think there's anything that can ever replace a parent or that hurt or that pain.
Yeah, I agree. And similar to what you said about like witnessing my mom, even though her mom and her didn't have like the best relationships, but witnessing what my mom felt and went through. And actually, not even a year after my grandmother passed, my mom went into the ICU and there was a lot going on with her medically where I thought she was going to pass. So, just witnessing how your parents are affected by when their parents pass it's just a lot. Or even like you said, like witnessing your spouse or a friend go through something, it's just a lot.
It's definitely a lot.
When I was it was right after my freshman year of college, I lost my grandma. And it was one of those situations where I never had to have a babysitter growing up. She was, my mother figure. She raised me. So when she passed, it was like, she was my mother figure growing up and she raised me. So when she passed right after the summer after my freshman year of college, it was like losing my mother. And in the later years of her life, she had Alzheimer's. So she struggled a lot with her memory. And there were times where she couldn't even remember us. There were times where she couldn't remember us. She would think we were people from her. Of course, with Alzheimer's, they think you're people from their past. And I don't know, it's something different about losing somebody and then losing them in that way slowly. And especially when it's somebody who, I just had such a connection with her. And like I said, anybody who knows me know I don't really have the best relationship with my mother. So I always saw her as my mother. And losing her was very tough. And I didn't even know I was going to get this emotional speaking about it. But that was tough. It's still tough to deal with. So that's my experience with grief. I don't really know what more to say about it. It's just something that, time does heal wounds and you feel better. You go through day-to-day life, but then it's just that one thing that it may hit you and you may be just taken back and it kind of brings it all back. Like it just happens and you get better over time and you feel better and you get stronger, but I don't know. It just may be that random thing. Like that question, I don't know why. It really like took me. I didn't know you were going to ask that. It really took me out of it for a second. But yeah.
Well, thank you for being vulnerable.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So, we're going to transition now to having our guests on, and they're going to share their experience with grief and losing parents. And we're just going to hear from them. And I hope that the listeners out there, especially those who have lost, whether it be a parent or a maternal or paternal figure, can relate to this and know that you're not alone in how you feel and what you're going through. So sit back and let's bring on our guests.
Hey, y'all. We are back with our two guests. We have Veronica and we have Nadich. Thank you both so much for coming and for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
We are going to get into our episode. So, do you guys want to tell us about yourself a little bit before we ask our first questions?
Veronica, you could go first, love.
Okay, so my name is Veronica. I'll say 28, 29. Birthday just passed, years old. I met Renice when we were 14.
Oh my God, you had to say that?
Yes. And I'm just happy to be here to speak with you guys.
Yes.
Thank you. We're happy to have you.
My name is Nottage, and I've known these ladies. Oh, y'all don't want me to put y'all business out there. No, right.
We done put our business out here for a couple episodes. So.
But I met a majority of these ladies in college, but Miss Laurina and I went to the same high school. Mm-hmm. So we dating ourselves here. I've known these ladies for a while now. And again, I would like to say thank you. Also, if you want to, I'm 32, so I don't know if that matters, but I'm 32. And I guess
and just had a birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy belated.
Well, both of you guys, I think both of you guys are Libras.
Come on, somebody. What was your birthday, Miss Veronica?
September 24th.
Oh, snap. You a September Libra. Y'all, I like y'all. Y'all different though.
It's weird. I'm on the cusp. So
okay. No, but listen, you a Libra, so we all good.
Okay. Well, once again, we thank you ladies for joining and sharing your stories. So first question, excuse me. What is your story regarding loss? It doesn't matter which one of you guys go first, but just what is your story regarding loss?
So, with my story, my dad passed away 2 years ago of peripheral T-cell lymphoma. And his diagnosis came quick. Like it started with him complaining of swelling of the neck and weight loss. And then we got into the diagnosis. Then he became a patient on my floor because I'm a nurse. So he went through treatment. And then we had the conversation that they were running out of options. While I was working, I was giving a report and the doctor called me in and said, we're running out of options. So it's either you do treatment or you go home on hospice. So we tried the next treatment. His disease progressed even worse. So we went home on hospice. I had a family meeting on the Tuesday before he died, and my family were like, okay, how long do you think he has? And I'm like, I think it's a week. And he died the next week. He died. And at this time I was 6 weeks pregnant. I was 3 days. It was 3 days before I completed my FNP program. So it was a lot. It was a lot at that time. It was a lot. It was a lot.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mine is kind of similar. I lost my dad 2 years ago as well. He had end-stage prostate cancer, renal failure, heart failure, and it wasn't quick. He was suffering for a few years. And I remember the last time he was hospitalized in February, he was just telling me, I'm tired. Like, I can't do this no more. I'm tired. And he died a few weeks later. And then my mom passed away when I was 15. My mom and I had the same birthday, Tuesday, September 24th, and she passed away the day after.
I am so sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow. Those are some heavy stories.
Yeah. Especially the part about having to kind of even be a caregiver to your parents as they're in that final stage. That I'm sorry for both of you. That is very heavy. And these might be some heavy questions we're asking. So if you need to skip or take a break, take a step back, please let us know. I had to a little earlier before you guys came on. So we'll definitely extend grace because we're grateful for you guys even being here and coming on. That being said, I'm going to ask the next question. How did you guys get through that initial grieving process?
For me, because like I said, I was 6 weeks pregnant when my dad died, and I'm of Haitian descent. So mourning is very interesting when you're pregnant, because I was there when my dad took his last breath. I felt his heart stop. I was there. Once I felt that, I was kicked out the room, because Haitians don't believe if you're carrying a life, you should not be around death. So I was kicked out. I watched my whole family have a breakdown. And I would say that I think that was the most traumatic part of my whole thing, because to watch every single family member of yours crumble is nothing nothing like that. So just that whole process, and with the funeral, I couldn't look at the casket. I planned the whole funeral, but I couldn't look when it was open. I couldn't look at the casket. Like, they had me sitting in the back with my chair facing like the wall, because they were afraid that I could lose my baby at any time, because
the cultural thing is
exactly.
I think it's actually a common cultural thing. I know you say you're Haitian, I'm African. It's like a superstition thing. They don't want you to give birth to a baby that's not living. So that's common.
Yeah. And I think the way my cousin described it to me, like, if, say, for instance, the baby's nose was being formed at that time, if you interrupted that by mourning or being in shock, like, the nose wouldn't finish forming. I don't know if that's true. Listen, back on that. I don't know.
That's the crazy thing. We have these superstitions, but we ain't gonna test them.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No, I ain't gonna test them.
No, thank you. I'm good.
From a medical standpoint, that is correct. If you are going through heavy stress, especially those first few initial weeks of pregnancy, 6 weeks is really early. You are at risk of losing your child. Stress is a big cause of
miscarriages. Yeah,
that's true.
So that's heavy.
Yeah.
For me, it's weird, because I have to look at the dichotomy. When my mom died when I was 15, I was still in Brooklyn. So I had my friends, I had my family, I had a big support system. So the first few months, it was hard, but it wasn't like the shock was still there. I had a support system. Versus when I was 27, when my father died, I lived in Florida. I didn't really have a big support system. My family was still in New York. I lived with my brother, but it was a certain point where I wasn't even speaking to any of my siblings. So I felt alone. Like, I had bad night terrors. Like, it was bad. I felt like there was no other options. So, like, it's weird to compare the two. Because, like I said, my mom, everybody's there for you. Come over, talk to me. But being in Florida, being isolated, I felt like that was the most trying, and it was the hardest emotionally, because I felt like I had no one.
That's a lot. And I thank you for even doing the comparison, because, your time in your life definitely plays a part. Both of you guys gave us good examples of, like, time in your life and still having to kind of put on that armor of being strong, but still trying to grieve, which is, it's hard to do both of those things. And, I know a lot of people, when they're going through the grieving process, you feel like you're alone, but to actually physically be alone, because I do know Veronica's story, and it was really hard being in Florida by herself. And I'm happy she did come back up north, but that's very devastating.
It is, because especially, I know in my case, I felt by myself, because I didn't know anybody who lost a parent while they were pregnant. I didn't know anybody. So, like, I would try to voice my concerns to my family members, but nobody understood how that feels. Like, you honestly feel crazy. You feel crazy, because you're happy because you're pregnant, but then the next second you're crying because your heart is broken, and you feel empty but happy. And plus with pregnancy hormones by themselves.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Put in that plus PT, I really thought I was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know how you didn't go crazy. Too much. Like it's a lot. The pregnancy, like losing a parent and just being alone. And like this is a lot. You ladies, both of you are very, very, very strong.
Superwoman.
Very
especially since that what a lot of people don't realize with the grief process. At any given point, you can backstep. You can step back and go right back to that first step of grief.
strong.
And it hits you maybe like the first day you heard the news. And then you'll be moving forward. You think you're good. And one thing just hits you. And you go back again in the beginning.
Yep.
Funny because like I said, my mom died when I was 15. So like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, this lady who was in the church that I grew up with, I remember she posted a picture of my mother on Facebook, a picture I've never seen before. And I was at work and it took me out. I don't know why. I had to like lock the door. So I used to work by myself. I had to lock the door so no customers come because I couldn't handle it. Like it was just feelings like it just the wave of emotion. And I just didn't expect it. Like, I don't know, maybe just because I just never seen it before, maybe it just hit me because sometimes for me, because she died so long ago and I only have so few pictures, sometimes I can't remember her face off the bat. Sometimes I can't remember her voice off the bat because it's been so long. I don't have any videos or anything. So I don't know, the picture just took me a place where I didn't expect to at that time, being with all those years, quote unquote.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Because years don't make no difference. And
No,
they don't.
We spoke about that right before you guys came on, like specifically with parents. No one's going to replace that parent. No one can replace anyone who passes away, but no one's going to replace that parent or that maternal or paternal figure. And, you know, just you saying that, you kind of reminded me of my mom when she said about her dad, because he died before she turned 25 as well. And it's like, eventually you do start to lose out on certain things, like how did they used to wear their hair. And that sometimes give people a panic. Because I know they used to give my mom panic. Like, I forgot what my dad looks like today.
No.
And that could be very scary.
And it's funny that you mentioned that. For me, it was smell. I always remembered how my grandma smelled. And it's funny because no matter where I've been, where I've moved, I have a nightgown of hers that I take wherever I go. And I don't know where, maybe a couple years ago, it started to lose her smell. And it's in that, I don't know, it just, that hit me and it made me so sad. I was crying. But even in my closet now, it's like, it's funny because this is my mom nightgown, but I can't let it go. I take it wherever I go. I don't care where I'm moving, where I'm living. I'm always going to have it in my closet. It's just there.
And you know what's interesting when you mentioned smell? My dad used to wear this cologne, but I am so afraid to smell it. I'm afraid to smell. I can't tell you why. I refuse. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I remember what he looks like, but I think smelling him will probably be too much.
Yeah.
Too much. Yeah.
It might be too much.
All right. Well, I have a question for you ladies. This Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So how do you get through major life events or holidays without your parents? I know a lot of our listeners we're about to embark on the holiday season. And this is where it gets really tough for a lot of people who have lost parents or who are going through that grieving process. So how have you dealt with that?
Go ahead, Veronica.
I always try to surround myself with my family. I have 3 nephews, so I figure to try to make it as joyous and as happy for them because, you know, you're only a child for a few years and you got to be a ghetto ass adult. So focus on the kids, and my family all comes together, my extended family. So at least that way it is a joyous occasion. Nobody's crying, nobody's sad. You know, I might have a little liquor, a little edibles, you know, something to keep your spirits up and then just try to have the best of time as you possibly can.
I would say the same, but holidays hit different now. Like and I don't think I will ever have that back. Like it's just, No matter what I do, I'm still with the same family, still in Trenton with them Haitians. I'm still there. But holidays hit different. It's like, oh, Thanksgiving. Yay. Like it does not have the same energy anymore. Like even though my dad really didn't participate in the Thanksgivings, like because he was doing his taxi thing, but it feels empty.
I can relate because with my birthday, like I said before, when me and my mom had the same birthday, she died the day after. So it's like, how do you celebrate? How do you move forward when I have to be reminded of my birthday is the last time I ever saw my mom alive? How do you move forward? But the older I'm getting, the more I realize that I'm still here. So I have to do something for myself.
Yes. And it's speaking of birthdays, because my birthday just passed on Friday, and my dad used to get me like these wonderful cakes for my birthday. And I remember, so the last birthday I celebrated with him was in 2017, and he was being admitted to the hospital. So he took me out to IHOP and made sure they sang to me. And like just the fact that he tried to make it as special as he could for me, because he used to buy me amazing cakes for my birthday. And this birthday was like, Dad, I don't have anybody do that for me now. So yeah.
I can imagine. Like, I know like my mom has said that plenty of times as well. Like holidays just hit different. And then you're trying because you do have children. I know now that you have a child, Veronica, I know you're very active with your nephew's lives. So you still have these children and you want them to feel all excited, but it's still like that piece. And my mom used to always explain that to me growing up, like after her dad died, like something is missing. And he brought a lot of joy from what I understand. My grandfather died before I was born, but he brought a lot of joy from what I understand to the family. He was a big jokester, maybe a little too much of a jokester. That's probably where I get it from. But he definitely brought a lot of joy to the life. So I can imagine how hard it is for the holiday season to come around.
I know my dad, he lost his mother when he was, when I was young, I was like 2 or 3. And he just said that it's something that you don't ever get over. You just learn how to live with. So holidays come, do it.
Yep. Because you can't be by yourself. Like because being by yourself, that's causing yourself torture. And we have to learn we will never forget. And that's that emptiness, and we know it will never be filled. It's just an ache or a pain that we're going to have to live with.
Yeah, you have to manage it.
And that's the best way I can describe it. It just that's that's really all I can say about that.
Yeah. And that right there is hard. That's hard. That kind of goes into my next question. So for the long haul, for longevity, how do you think you're going to deal with grief for the long haul, especially as you continue on your life path, having children, having family around? So how do you think you're going to deal with grief for the long term?
So it goes back to what everyone was saying before. I always hate hearing, "Oh, time heals all wounds," blah blah blah. That's a lie. It makes things.
It is.
Hope, learn. Like you can't tell me that time will make me not be sad about losing my parents. These are the people who first loved me when I came into this world.
Yeah.
How could I ever forget that? How can I ever move forward? So. To tell me it's going to be okay, I know it's not. How am I going to be the best person that I can be now because I'm still here? How do I not be a victim of my circumstances and not let the grief and the pain consume me? Because you're right. You have to live with it. You're not going to be the same person you was before you lost your parent or a loved one. How can you be? But how are you going to do the best because you're still here? You're still alive. You have to look around. You have to live this ghetto life. How are you going to manage? Just making sure you have a good support system, I think. And also setting boundaries for yourself and allowing yourself to grieve and not think you have to suppress your emotions. Because when it comes out in the worst times and then you take it out on people who don't deserve it. and situations, you know what I mean? So it's a weird balance. And I don't know how I ever will, because I feel like I'll be 80 years old still crying for my mother. You know what I mean? Because I'm still here and I still have to feel that pain. So it's hard to give like advice, like just managing and going through it, because like I said, I was telling my nephews a few weeks ago, next year when I turn 30, my mother would be gone for half of my life. And it don't even like sound right or feel right. Like sometimes it feels like it's a long time that I've been going through it. Sometimes it feels like it was just yesterday. So just learning to take everything day by day and owning my feelings. And, you know, if I'm in a bad mood today, that's okay, because that's my right.
Mm-hmm.
And not letting, I should be happy all the time, because that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Unhuman. But accepting my feelings and facing whatever I'm feeling at the moment, sad, happy, content, disgusted, whatever the case is easier for me to manage day by day.
Yeah. I really hate when people just assume people are supposed to be happy, like smile or be happy, like go kick rocks, leave me alone. Like I just think, who the hell is walking around smiling like a killer, a serial killer?
I was
That's
about to say
On the
sociopath.
street, why are you not smiling? I want to see you smile. Sir, please. No.
I have a mask on. You cannot tell me I'm not smiling. I have a mask
You're
on.
not smiling with your eyes.
You need to give me 6 feet of distance. What are you doing?
Come on.
Yeah.
How so in my case, I don't know. I to be honest, I don't know, because I had my baby. So again, my dad died in February. I had my baby in September. My baby was born 5 days after my dad's birthday. So the 2019 was probably one of the worst years I've ever experienced thus far in my life, due to my postpartum depression, still mourning my dad. I don't know. I really don't know, because that's a concern of mine now. Like, okay, when I have my next child, Lord willing, my dad didn't get to meet my first baby. So now I'm going to go, Lord willing, have my next baby. He's not going to experience that. Am I going to still remember the time when he wasn't here during my first postpartum experience? Will I go through that again? So long, I don't know how I'm going to do this long term. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know, because I know the experience I had last year and the fact that I'm finally getting out of it this year. I don't know. I don't know.
But those are realistic answers that you both give, because realistically, I think sometimes when questions like this is asked, people want these answers so that they can be like, okay, they said do X, Y, and Z, so I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Like, it's a quick fix. Grieving is not a quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
I do grief counseling for some individuals. And that is something that I constantly tell them, like, you're going to probably hit those 5 stages of griefs over and over and over again. It's not going to just go away. Yes, throughout time, you might have a day where you're like, oh, today was great, I didn't think about it. But then the next day, you might just think about it every second. Like, it's just something that's like, what's that thing that them kids used to play on? A seesaw? A seesaw. A soy saw? It's a seesaw.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to keep going up and down. And realistically, I know we're going to have viewers or listeners that's listening to this who've experienced these things. And just to know that you are not alone. There's someone else going through it with you, and that it's okay if Thanksgiving come around and you get the case of the fuckets and you don't want to deal with Thanksgiving. It's okay if you're not like a big Christmas person this year after dealing with a tragedy. So I just want to make that clear.
Yes.
And especially the question is talking about long term. Long term, we're going to be going through life events. So I feel like there's no way to know how to manage when you have a child, when you get married, when you have a big event that's happening in your life where you thought that loved one would be around for, and now they aren't. It's just taking it day by day, moment by moment, and processing your grief and trying to managing it might get easier. So you may not break down like you did the first time. You may not cuss everybody out or shut down completely like you did the first time. So you may manage it better, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be any easier. It doesn't mean that it's not going to hit the same.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a society where it's not like they give us enough time that we need. It's not like we can sit here and say, okay, I'm going to take a good 2 years to get over this devastating life event and to come to terms with it and to be okay. And then I'm going to pop back up. No, we have jobs, we have lives. Some of us have responsibilities. Some of us have people who depend on us. And you have to put on that brave, happy face and go about your day.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that about the job because my father died on a Saturday. Sunday afternoon, my manager called me like, "Oh, so I'm sorry, I heard about your father passing. So I just want to make sure you're not coming to work tomorrow."
Us out.
Trifling.
No, bitch, I'm not. What you think? Like,
but you know, jobs are like that because even like my job, I hope they're not listening, but even my job, like one of the employees lost their mother due to COVID, and like my boss was on top of her, like, oh, so you're coming back to work. So a lot of people are kind of like a little scared of my boss. I'm not. So I told her, like, listen, sis, something happened to my mom. Don't call me, don't text me, because if I pick up and you call me and text me, I quit because I'm cursing you out. I'm laying you out like a dog. So yeah, I don't know what's wrong with people. They be really taking these jobs seriously. Shit, ghetto.
No, seriously, that is a lot. So throughout this process, has there been anybody or any particular thing that you've used to help you get through the process? Like, have you found like working out is a good way, or maybe have you gone to a therapist, or have you had friends that have really helped you out throughout this process?
So like I said, I always have to talk about it, the two parts. So with my mom initially, because I had so much support, it was easier to get through. But as the months go by, you know, people aren't checking up on you like they said they was or they used to. So when you start feeling more alone, I know when I was 16, 17, 18, nobody could tell me nothing. If I wanted to have sex, if I wanted to smoke some weed, if I wanted to be out on the streets, anything to try to fill a void in my life, that's what I was doing. I wasn't going to school. I wasn't doing nothing because I couldn't comprehend it. Like, my mother's dead. Nobody could tell me nothing. You can't make me do nothing. So like in the beginning, yeah, in the middle, but I had to reach a point where I wanted to do better for myself. And I was like, all right, you got to finish school. You have to do something. You got to get a job. You got to take care of yourself because nobody else is. So the realization for that, for me, for my mom, for my dad, I was emotionally unstable. I was at work. I'd be crying in front of clients. I didn't care. It was terrible. So I'm like, I didn't want to do my laundry. I didn't want to do my hair. I didn't want to do nothing. So when I finally got to a point where I was like, you know what? You have insurance. Try to find a therapist. And first of all, I live in South Florida. It was terrible, terrible, terrible. I remember I finally got the strength after months to go to a therapist. And it was right by my house. I'm like, right, this is convenient. This is good. The lady sat in my face. She said, I'm sorry, miss. It's a 3-month waiting period. And you either have to have just gotten out of jail or just came out of 72 hole from a mental hospital for us to expedite you seeing a therapist. So I'm like, even when you try to take those steps to better yourself, I'm like, so, okay, so either I'm gonna have to commit myself or kill myself, because at that point I couldn't see the bright light at the end of the tunnel. Like, it just didn't make no sense to me. But the more I tried, I'm like, you know what, just focus on trying to find a therapist, focus on doing something. And even when I found a good therapist by my job, just the action of getting up and going to therapy was the start of the healing process. Being outside, trying to put myself back into society, because when you lose someone, you don't want to be bothering nobody. You want to be out in the street. I'll never forget when my mother died. I used to live in Crown Heights, and around the corner was Eastern Parkway, and I sat and I watched everybody life go on. And it's like, how can your life go on when my life is crumbling around me? So even the action of just going to therapy, talking, I feel like really helped me channel my grief in a more positive, and it helped me get out of the haze I was in.
I would have to agree with you, Veronica, because therapy really, really, really helped me a lot. Also, my friends, of course, my friends were very supportive, my family. Um, Therapy, yeah, that's some real stuff. Therapy really did help. And it was to the point where I had to go to therapy twice a week. Because my therapist was like, yeah, I'm really concerned about you. So
we do be
you
putting
need
on
to-
that voice. We do be putting on that voice. So let me just tell you what we do next.
yes. So therapy really, and I was in therapy before any of that happened, but for my therapist, because I was with the same therapist since 2016. So she was on the journey with me. And once I got to this point, and she was like, we're going to have to ramp up these sessions because this is getting a little heavy here. Which I would recommend. And I understand our family and our friends are to be there for us, but they have to live their lives too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't really, yes, they try their best. But you can't be there for me like at midnight when I'm thinking the thoughts I'm thinking. I'm not going to call you. I know you got a whole family. You got to go to work. You got to live your life. So that's why therapy is a very good option to have, because sometimes your loved ones can't be there for you because they go through their own stuff.
Exactly. And they may not have the best tools in their toolbox to help you out, which is why I feel like therapy is such a good option. It's they can wish you well and they can sit here and be like, it's okay, baby, time gonna make it better. And you're sitting here like, no, time is not.
Yeah.
And they mean so well, but
Yes.
it's just like you said, they have to live their lives as well. And then I know me, I'm the type of person, I don't really want to put my burdens on other people. So you may feel that, especially when you know that person, you've seen what they have been going through or what they're what they have going on in their own personal life. You may not want to put that on that person.
Yeah.
And they may be willing to take it, but you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And listening to both of y'all stories and hearing the loss that you guys have had, and especially it being a pivotal time in your lives, like Veronica, you lost your mother in your youth, and then you lost your father in your 20s. And now that you lost your father while you were pregnant with your first child, is having to navigate grief at that time in your life. And that's just the time you guys were in, not putting other factors that like we're young adults. We're navigating the world in a crazy time. Finances, work, careers, school, all that on top of dealing with grief and going through the day-to-day life, and people not even knowing that you're carrying such a heavy burden on your heart. That's just, that's a lot.
It's crazy. And to go back to work, because again, my dad was a patient on my floor. So now I have to be there to give these cancer patients faith and encourage them and be there by their side. I'm like, Dad, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Like I have to give you all of me, and I'm running on 10% literally. But I have to give you all this because you're scared and you need me. You need me. So I have to give you this. Barely making it, honey. Only God's grace. I really don't know how I don't know.
God.
That's
definitely
only
God.
Nothing but God. Nothing but.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, similar to what Laura said, like you guys just, been through a lot. And, I'm hoping like our listeners hear this, and therapy does work. I know sometimes I'm happy the day and age we're in, more people are talking about therapy, and therapy is more like, oh, I'm going to therapy. It's a thing right now, which is great. It's wonderful. But, it also means putting in work. So people sometimes forget that therapy is not just you thinking your therapist is going to fix stuff. You actually have to put in work, and that's so hard. Like Veronica even said, getting up to go to the therapist's office was like a task within itself. So, just doing those baby steps. And something I always tell my clients when I do therapy is also when you're in that mindset, that grieving mindset, that depressive mindset, giving yourself a pat on the back for even doing that. Like, oh, I looked up a therapist, pat on the back, because Me a few weeks ago would have been like, yeah, I'm not doing none of this shit. Like, I'm just going to keep drinking, smoking, acting up, doing what I want to do to make myself feel better. Because all of us have unhealthy coping skills. We all try to make ourselves feel good in the moment. Instant gratification is definitely a thing. So just giving yourself a pat on the back for even taking those little steps. For those who are celebrating the holidays, who's missing a parent, if you put up some decorations and you still not feeling the best, you put up those decorations. Give yourself a round of applause for that. Give yourself a pat on the back for the things you've done.
And give yourself grace to be able to feel your feelings.
Yeah.
Like it may be hard, but if you know that loved one has something they really, especially with the holiday season coming up, something they really, really love, or something you love to do with them, maybe give yourself a little bit of time, but don't rush it to see if maybe, that thing will bring you some comfort. Like I was saying, the smell for me, but now I was just saying the smell wouldn't have done it for her. Maybe something else, like a memory, like a photo, like a song or a movie. Just don't allow yourself to get caught up in it during this holiday season. If friends and family, when you get around your family members and they have those memories that you have, and you can just laugh and reminisce about that person. If you think that's going to bring you a smile on your face, or a moment where it's not absolutely deep pain, it may be a funny moment, do that. If your friends want to reach out to you, have them come over, but still be able to say, hey, it's too much right now.
Yeah.
Be vocal.
Yes, I have a family member who will just not stop talking about, just situations, my parents. And even though I know it's coming from a loving place, I have to put a boundary. Like, listen, I can't right now. I don't want to talk about that right now. Can we please change the subject? I know you're coming from a loving place, but right now, I just don't want to hear about my parents.
Yeah.
Like, I need the space. And setting boundaries is an important thing that you need to do in order to maintain your mental.
Maintaining
Veronica,
your mental.
Can I ask you a question? Are you an only child?
No, I have 4 siblings.
You have 4. So you did say you have nephews. Okay. All right. Can I ask you another question?
Absolutely.
How did your siblings support you through the loss of your parents?
I feel like dysfunction. I'm not going to hold y'all. I'm not going to keep it cute. We're working still. I feel like we have some sort of dysfunction. So when we were younger, like my older sister she just had a baby right before my mother passed away. So she had that to focus on. My other sister was up at college. My other sister was with her friends. So there was no camaraderie. There was no connection. Like, it was just like every man for themselves. So, of course we would get together certain parts, but it wasn't that good because we were all grieving and we all didn't know how. When my father died, I didn't even speak to my siblings. Like, after they came for the funeral, we weren't even speaking for months. My brother, we lived in the same apartment, we weren't speaking for months. So it's hard. It's hard. Like, you would think it would be a time where you would all come together, but we didn't. And I'm okay with that. That's what needed to happen at the time. But now we have a great relationship. All 5 of us, we have a great relationship. I'm happy to see all of them. We talk. We're trying to work through, and of course, therapy. I know I go to therapy. I don't put my family business out there, but family members go to therapy as well. So that way, at least we can see faults, flaws, etc., and work to be a better person. Because when you're better in yourself, it will, just showcase in your other relationships. So thankfully now at this point, me and my siblings were at the best space that we've ever been. We're all over 25 years old. We getting old. My knee hurt. We don't have time to be right here arguing. Like, we don't have time. Like, so I'm glad now that we are a great support system for each other.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really great.
What about you?
I'm an only child.
Okay.
How, so now that I'm the only child too, so that's a question that I always ask myself, how would I deal with my parents passing? So being the only child kind of just, I don't know if you have a large extended family or not and how close you guys are, but how did you kind of deal with everything just being the only child?
So, as an only child, I had to plan the funeral because my mom could not take it. She could not handle it. So I do have a very large extended family. I have 1 million cousins. I think it's about 1 million. So they were there to support me, which is good because they helped me plan the funeral and everything like that. My concern now for me is now that it's just me and my mom and my baby, when God decides to take my mom, what am I going to do?
That's the scary part of getting older. It's like something that's in the back of your head. Yeah. We're getting older, and we know the old heads and my moms and pop-pops, they don't like doctors. I don't know what it is about getting older. You got to be on them. They don't like doctors. They don't like taking care of their health. So it's kind of like a fear in the back of your head. What if, and you don't want to think about it, but we're the adults now. We have to take care of things. So I don't know. It's just very nerve-wracking even thinking about it. But at the same time, it's kind of like maybe something you should think about so you can have a plan, or at least people you know will support you, or it's just, I don't know. It's really tough.
But don't harp over it, because I feel like me.
Yeah, definitely not.
So I'm the only child. I have a really good relationship with my mom. However, I don't have the best relationship with my dad. Both of my parents are alive, but my dad, with his health is declining drastically. And I don't think so much about if he passes, but I do think about my mom, because she was mom and dad growing up. And I try not to harp about it, but sometimes the brain is a funny thing. I love learning about mental health and the brain. It's my passion, because the brain is a funny thing. It will bring you to, well, at least my brain, it will bring you to create situations. So sometimes I'll be sitting in the house by myself. I do live alone, and I don't know why, I'm a weirdo. I'll sit in here with no music, no nothing on, just in the house, quiet. And sometimes my brain will take me to like, well, what if this happens and your mom passed? And I create this whole freaking scenario in my head. I'll be in the house crying as if it really happened. And, try to break yourself out of doing that. I have to like actively, consciously try to break myself from doing that. I don't know why my brain likes to kind of pre-plan that event, but it does. I think it's our brain tries to create defense mechanisms for us. So sometimes our brain will have us pre-plan events or pre-plan things that's going to happen to kind of say, all right, you feel the blow now, you won't feel it later. That's a lie. You're still going to feel the blow.
Exactly.
So you're going to feel it. You're actually re-traumatizing yourself when your brain does that, because you're feeling it twice. And I know what Laura just said about like plan, but don't overly plan. Yeah. Like I've had conversations with Laurina. She kind of tries to call me on my stuff sometimes, but I have the conversations with Laurina about like, if X, Y, and Z does happen, like I need y'all to figure something out, but I need my circle around me tight, because I don't have a large extended family. I actually don't have the best relationship with my extended family as well. So it's literally all on me. Yeah. And it's scary because your parents are getting older, and this is a real thing. No matter what age you go through, it's very, very scary. So,
and the one thing I'm going to say to those only children that may have lost parents, even though that's a thought that I have, I'd never let it get farther than that, because I'll be like, well, guess what? God has, but my mom is here now. I'm going to enjoy my time with my mom now. I at least she's here now. She's here now. So I can't let that thought go too far.
Yeah.
Because if it does, I'm going to have anxiety. I'm going to be crying. It's not necessary. Right now, we're going to concentrate on the now. Girlfriend is here now. So we're going to enjoy her while she's here. Girlfriend is here.
Girlfriend is here, and you sitting here like, Ma.
It's funny that you say that, because that was the stepping stone for me to get a good relationship with my father, because he left my house when I was like 10, and he moved to Florida when I was 12. So I didn't have the best relationship with him. But losing my mom made me face like, okay, this is my last remaining parent I have left. I need to make the best of my relationship, as well as I saw changes in him. So it wasn't just one-sided. So I'm like, okay, this is what I have. So you're absolutely right. You have to, even though it's hard, just accept what you have right now, look around, and be happy with what you have right now. Just wanted to touch on that as well.
And I love that you were able to make the best out of a situation. Like, yes, you did lose your mom and nothing can replace that, but at least you used that as a stepping stone to get a better relationship with your dad.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. That's really, really good.
That's very good.
To enjoy the time that you had with him. So that's awesome.
Because the crazy thing about grief, it teaches us all one thing, baby. None of us are gonna be here forever. None of us.
Life is short.
Life is short, and it doesn't matter who that person is to you. They don't owe you anything to stay here with you. We have to keep going and keep moving, and you just have to live your life as the best person you know how. You can take what you've learned from that person or little things they've taught you or how they make you feel and just continue on with your life. But we have to keep moving. It makes it feel like your world has stopped. Your whole world has stopped, but the world hasn't.
Yeah.
I do have the last question for you ladies. So what advice I think we kind of covered it already, but what advice would you give someone who recently lost a parent?
It's hard to say because, like I said, when my parents died, nobody could tell me nothing because it didn't matter what anyone said. Not they're in a better place.
Oh God,
everything's gonna be up. My mother is dead. My father is dead. How can you tell me that they're in a better place when I want them here now?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's hard to give advice, especially because grief is just something that we're gonna have to deal with for the rest of our lives. But I feel like always just take it. You have to take everything day by day. There's nothing else. I don't know what else I can say because. Letting me know, okay, it's 9:00 at night, 10:00 at night. Here, I got through the day. Yes, it was hard. What was my highlights? What was my low points? Just trying to ground yourself every day and always just trying to have some sort of support.
Yeah. So maybe let's rephrase it, not advice you would give somebody who recently lost their parents. What advice do you wish, or what support do you wish you would have gotten when you first lost your parent? What would have helped you at that moment, if anything? Because it's kind of hard to say what advice would you give when you didn't even know what to do yourself.
What I would say is this. First thing is be gentle with yourself. Because you have never been through this experience before. So whatever feeling you are right in feeling that, because that's how you process that. You are not wrong for that. You need to be gentle with yourself. That's the first thing I'm going to say. The second thing I'm going to say is if you're a friend trying to support a friend who's lost a family member, sometimes you really don't have to say anything. Just sitting there listening is good enough. You don't need to give me a word. You don't gotta be like, well, God has the final say. Trust and believe. I know God has the final say. He created that person. So he takes his child when he's ready to take his child. However, I don't need to hear nothing about God right now. I love the Lord. Praise God. Hallelujah. Love him. I'm not trying to hear that right now. I'm not. Just listen. Just let me talk. Let me do just listen. You don't have to say anything. Just listening is fine. You don't need to give me a word of encouragement. You don't have to do any of that. It's not necessary. Just being present is enough. And the last thing I want to say is even after the funeral, please do not forget about that person. The worst times comes months after. It doesn't have funeral, the moment after the funeral, it's months after when that thing hit heavy. Or when an important event like your baby being born and your dad is not there and you're seeing your significant other father loving on your child and your dad didn't get an opportunity to hold your baby. That moments like that is when you need to be there for your person. And that's it.
And just to go back to what she said about having a friend trying to support you, One of my best friends, she used to call me on FaceTime. All right, what movie you want to watch tonight? What TV? Girl, whatever, Coco, whatever. I don't care. Just even to get your mind off the situation, because you don't always want to be bombarded with how are you, how you feeling?
Yeah.
Hey, did you cry today? What's going on? What do you think? You don't always want to be bombarded with that. Sometimes it's too much, and that puts me in an even worse situation.
Mm-hmm.
So just like she said, just being present, just being there. Even if you want to sit next to me, we're just not even saying nothing, and we're just sitting there, looking at the wall, looking crazy.
That's it. That's it. And a question, instead of saying how are you feeling, just saying, how are you today?
In this moment.
In this moment. That is a perfect question to ask somebody, especially right after the loss. Not how are you? How are you feeling right now? Because I can tell you how I'm feeling right now.
Even if I don't know.
That's an answer. It's still a response. I don't know. That's still a response. So, yeah. Yeah.
Once again, thank you both so much for coming on and sharing some of your toughest life experience with us and telling us your journey through it and just being so transparent with us. We really appreciate it. And our listeners definitely appreciate it. Once again, sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just so grateful for y'all coming and sharing y'all experience with us, because I know there are so many people, especially with the holiday season coming up, they're just sitting there and thinking, how am I going to do it? How am I going to get through it? And to be able to hear other people who are going through it and know that you're not alone in your experiences. And the advice you gave at the end, maybe there's somebody who's close to someone who just lost someone, and they're trying to figure out, how do I support them in this upcoming time? And you just gave them advice on how to be that support system, how to avoid things that might trigger the person. Mm-hmm. So that was definitely good advice and greatly appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the one thing I do want to say to anybody who lost a parent, there are going to be days when you just can't do it. There are going to be times when you're like, you know what, if I just disappear, it will be better. Please, I please don't do it. Just take your time, breathe, call somebody, because I've been there. I know that. Please don't do it. You're needed, you're wanted, you're appreciated. Somebody needs you here. So please, if you ever get to that moment, just stop, just breathe, call somebody, please, because we need you. We need you. So please do that. Just do it.
I thank you for sharing that. And, I know this is a touching subject for a lot of people, and I hope people did take adhere to what Nadej said. Please don't. In our description box, we'll have a number listed for anyone to call if times do get so tough and you feel like you have no one else to reach out to. I know this is a very emotional episode, and I know this is coming out right before Thanksgiving, but we definitely thought, and we still do think, this was needed, because there are so many individuals, not only after, I know the podcast is called Life After 25, but not only 25 and older, but even younger, who are going through a lot, and having a parent or a loved one, because I don't want to just, I know our conversation was about parents, but having a loved one no longer here is very, very difficult. So if you do need someone to talk to, we'll have some listings in our description box, so you can know who to reach out to.
Yes. And this is coming out on the week of Thanksgiving. So we just want to wish our followers a happy Thanksgiving. And if you are going through it, please use the resources that we provide. And also know that, just like Nadej said, you are loved, you are wanted, and you'll be able to make it through.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Life After 25. Make sure you follow our Instagram and join our Facebook group for more content throughout the week. Set those alerts so you know when our next episode drops, and look below in the description box. Don't let anyone steal your joy, and have a blessed day, honey.